Our final list of cruise lingo is a little bit shorter, but can be just as confusing for anyone that's new to cruising. I thought maybe we would touch on terms you'll come across when you book a cruise. Ahoy travelers, it's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here to help you make your vacation a success. First term is going to be guaranteed cabin. No matter the cabin level, interior, balcony, etc., a guaranteed cabin is one where they guarantee that you get at least a level of cabin that you booked, but you don't get to pick your cabin location. This will usually be a cheaper option if you're working within a budget and don't have any preferences on cabin location. I do have a longer video that will explain this in great depth, and I will drop that in the description below. Port fees. Every port charges the cruise line a fee per person on the ship. The ship then passes that fee on to you, the cruiser. On most American-based lines, these are not going to be included in that base cruise fare that you see when you're looking at cruises to book. They will then be added as an additional charge, and you'll see it later when you go to pay for your cruise. Many European and British lines, they will actually include that in their base fare, so they don't ever see the port fee. If your ship has to skip a port for some reason, and I do mean skip, not replace, then you're going to be refunded the fee for that port on American lines, but since it's included in the base fare when cruising on most British and European lines, you're probably not getting that fee back. And this may also differ if you're booking as an American or as a European, so you just need to pay attention during your booking, whether that was included or whether it was an add-on. Drink packages, this is just what they sound like. A drink package is an additional add-on that you can purchase. There are a variety of packages that you can choose from, not just from line to line, but each cruise line usually has multiple drink packages that they offer. Typically, there will be a soda package, a basic alcohol drink package, and then a deluxe alcohol drink package. Some lines also offer one for specialty coffees, while specialty coffees may be included in an alcoholic drink package on other lines. Whether or not to get a drink package is probably one of the most discussed topics in cruising. However, whether or not someone should purchase a drinks package is so subjective that there is no easy answer. People will ask, should I get a drinks package? It's not an easy yes or no. The best way to figure out if a drink package is going to be something you should purchase is to figure out if you're going to at least break even when you consider the cost of the package versus how many drinks that you think you'll consume in a day. There are a few sites with information that can help you do the math, including cruisemummy.com. Your itinerary is made up of the ports that you will visit and how many sea days you will have during your cruise. It's the route that your cruise ship takes. For example, on our next cruise, we're going on a Western Caribbean, and that itinerary includes Cozumel, Belize, and Roatan, along with 3 sea days. Be aware, though, that cruise lines will not guarantee that you will go to any of these ports of call. There are various reasons why your itinerary might change, but knowing that it could change is important. If you want compensation for a missed port, there are some cruise insurance policies that will pay out if you miss a port. The best you're going to get from the cruise line is your port fees back. Excursions. Often referred to by cruise lines as shore excursions, these are the trips that you take while you're at port. Excursions are going to cost you extra and can vary wildly in cost. Cruise lines will offer up a selection for every port you visit, or you can use an outside company to book an excursion. There are benefits to both, and I have a video breaking those down and it will help you decide, and I'll link that in the description below. Specialty dining is another one of the things that's pretty much what it sounds like, and it is an extra cost. One of the great things about cruising, though, is that once you've paid for your cruise fare, port fees, and taxes, you don't have to spend another dime on your vacation unless you choose to do so. So specialty dining is not something you have to do. There are so many options when it comes to included dining on a ship that it would be impossible to go hungry on board ship. However, some people do like to spend the extra money and reserve time in these specialty restaurants because they offer something that you might not be able to get in the included restaurants. This is referred to as specialty dining. It seems like cruise lines are adding more and more specialty restaurants on their newer ships, probably trying to make more money. If you are considering trying out some of these restaurants, especially if you want to visit more than one, look into seeing if your line offers a specialty dining package. And that way it'll be a little bit cheaper and help you save some money. We have a couple more terms to discuss, including one of the most divisive ones in the cruising industry. But first, if you enjoy this video, maybe even learn something, be sure to let us know by commenting and giving this video a thumbs up. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. Another dining term that we need to discuss is anytime dining. It's also sometimes referred to as your time dining. This is offered on some ships as a third alternative to early or late dining in the main dining room. Traditionally, passengers would have had to choose between just the early or late dining, with very little wiggle room on when you could show up to the MDR and then still actually be served your meal. Anytime dining allows passengers more flexibility on when you show up for your evening meal. The downside to anytime dining is that you will most likely have different servers with every single meal, so they're not going to get to know you and your preferences. Like everything else, there are pros and cons to any choice made, but you're going to need to make a choice prior to sailing. And now for the most controversial topic in cruising: gratuities. Like on land, a gratuity is the same as a tip and helps bolster wages for the crew. Most American lines have auto gratuities that you can choose to pay prior to sailing. If not, they will be added to your cruise account during your cruise. Some lines will allow you to remove those gratuities, but not all of them. Most British and European lines either have the gratuities included with the base cost of the fare, or they don't have them even listed. Tipping is a very American thing that just isn't done in most of the world. Whether or not to pay that recommended gratuity is probably the most controversial topic in cruising. Cruise lines that have added gratuities claim that the money you pay is divided amongst the crew, both those that you have face-to-face and direct contact with, and then those behind the scenes that are helping to make your vacation a success. Some cruisers choose to remove the auto gratuity so they can choose themselves exactly which crew members get a gratuity and how much. Personally, I don't have a problem paying the auto gratuities. I just see them as part of the cost of cruising. It's part of the base fare to me. And then I will give additional cash to any cruise member I think goes above and beyond to make my cruise special. This is such a divisive topic that I have an entire video dedicated to it, and I will leave that in the description below as well. And this wraps up our 3-part series on cruise lingo. I'd love it if you could take the time to drop a comment on if there was a term that was new to you, or if you think that I left something important out. If you found this list of terms to be helpful, be sure to check out this video where I go over cruise terms, and then come back next week for another video designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.